things that I want to discuss today is one of the things which is called a cognitive distortion that I see most of my clients that are really struggling to sort of break free to and break through to the next level. What's sort of holding them back and causing undue stress and pressure and anxiety is this cognitive distortion, which is all or nothing thinking. Now, I really want to explain what this is because you may or may not see yourself in this, and I'd like you to take the opportunity to really reflect in your life to see different areas that you may or may not be experiencing this and seeing if there's a way that you can overcome it, because I'm going to be sharing some of the ways that you can overcome it. So I want to be as brief as I can so that you can digest this and it's enough for you to get moving forward on. So this all or nothing thinking is basically looking at absolutes, if you like. It's the extremes. It's yes or no, good or bad, success or failure. There's nothing in between. You know, like I like to see life as a bit of a continuum. And if this is where we want to go and this is where we are today, you know, there's an evolution. You're going to oscillate between the two, and there's going to be different things that happen and up and downs. So you're not always going to be on this linear straight line. That's the first thing. And the second thing, because that's unrealistic, isn't it? Stuff happens, life happens. And the second thing is there's a process, is what I'm saying. It's a continuum. We're growing and developing and evolving. It's not like here we are today and then here we are tomorrow. There's a process involved in getting from A to B. But most people with the all or nothing mentality think I'm either doing well or I'm not. There's nothing in between. There's no sort of room for error. There's no margin for error. And it's often related to good or bad, yes or no, in or out, success or failure. So it's the cognitive part of it is cognitive means the way that you think, and distortion means misleading or distortion meaning not irrational is probably the best way to put it. So irrational thinking is a great way to put it. So all or nothing thinking is, again, anything less than 100 equates to 0. Can you see any area of your life where this is the case? Like I've either done it extremely well or not. Sometimes if you've been exposed to environments where people nitpick at things that you do. I remember I used to work for a corporate organization. I'd present this entire strategy, right? And I'd be very proud of the overarching strategy and vision and where it could take us. I was less worried about the minor, teeny tiny bits, but my manager was always wanting to show me where I did wrong, you know, where I'm not doing right. And that was building this belief in myself that I wasn't capable or I missed a spot, even if it was so minor, and most of the time it was. But that starts to get you into this, it's either good or it's not. Whereas missing the big picture, it's like, okay, so here's the big strategy, here's the vision, here's where we're going. It doesn't matter whether or not there was an I dotted or a T crossed. It's like a bigger picture, and then we can build and expand on that. So sometimes you're exposed to environments that make you think has to be perfect. I can't get this out. And it might just be part of the nature of your job. You could be a lawyer, or you could be somebody that needs to have a very, very minimal or no error margin. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you're exposed to environments like that, but that can then seep into everyday life and your mindset that causes you to start to damage yourself and give you more stress. So, and what that does then is if you're looking for this all or nothing all the time, I've either done really well, I've been able to achieve it, or I haven't, you're likely to be constantly belittling yourself and punishing yourself for the things that you haven't done. I actually have a client of mine who is a professional, she has her own business, and she's got a very busy business, and she's grown it exponentially in the last few years. And there's a lot of other issues and challenges going on in her entire life. And what she's been able to achieve is incredible in the time frame that she's been focusing on it. Grown a business and managed to achieve lots of other things in lots of different areas. I remember having a conversation with her, and she was pretty down about herself, even though she's building a huge business and a big following, got great reputation and all of these things and everything else she's achieved. And I remember her saying, I'm not feeling that great. And when I really dug deep and figured out what it was, it came down to this all or nothing thinking. And it was revealed in her language what she was saying. I never end up doing the dishes before I go to bed. That was her issue. That's what I mean about dotting the I's and crossing the T's, that focus. It's so narrow, but it's like I've either succeeded or I've failed. And because I didn't do the dishes XYZ amount of times, I failed. And a lot of people do that when they're on a weight management journey. They might say, I didn't stick to my diet, even though, I'm not a fan of dieting, but I didn't stick to my diet. And as a result, I'm a failure. Or I didn't go to the gym. Now I've failed. I always fail. I never end up doing that. And so that means that your self-belief is taking a massive beating. You're punishing yourself even more, and your self-hatred starts to go up. And we know from research that that's really damaging towards achieving your goals. Research shows that building your own confidence in your capabilities and being able to be self-compassionate, they are the two key indicators to help you achieve success. So this all or nothing thinking can manifest in different areas in your life. I've failed as a parent because, I didn't drive my children to soccer, or I've failed as a director because I wasn't able to contribute fully at the board meeting because I wasn't present. And that then stems into other parts of your life and really erodes at this belief and this self-compassion, and starts to get you into this deep, dark hole and not able to sort of get high performance outcomes, really. So some of the ways that you can assess whether or not you are the type of person that has the all or nothing mentality, because it's hard to even see it within yourself. It really does take an outsider to go, there it is. Can you hear that? They see that all or nothing, am I the in or out, yes or no, success or failure mentality. So sometimes it does take someone to sort of spot it and go, hey, did you just hear that? Or often when I'm having conversations with people, I contemplate the different cognitive distortions and I can point out to them, hey, did you hear that? And a lot of the time it is this all or nothing thinking. So what I want to encourage you to do is try and be spotting the indicators that show you that you have this cognitive distortion in the first place. And that is revealed often by the words that you use. So for example, I know some people are like, my partner never does this. I always end up having failed relationships. I'll never end up being successful at losing weight. Every single manager I end up having ends up hating me. Whatever language, but the words that you're using are very negative, but more importantly, you're using strong, extreme words as well. Never and always and everything and all those language, it's demonstrating it's either yes or no. It's not like occasionally, some of the times that would demonstrate a bit more of a balanced cognitive capability. That's more balanced, but it's this extreme language that shows me that you've got this extreme the all or nothing distortion, So often the cognitive words, because it's thinking in a distorted way. So what are we thinking? It's often revealed by our thoughts, obviously. So figure that out, okay, I can see I'm doing that there. I am using those words. Okay. How can I look for a more balanced perspective? That's the next thing you want to be thinking about. How can I tone it down a bit? And the way that I encourage people to get a bit more of a balanced perspective is by saying the words like, it would have been better if I had a manager who didn't nitpick on those small things there, but actually I was really happy with the overall strategy, and I ended up being able to encourage him to look above and beyond some of the really minor things that had no impact on the overall strategy. It would have been better if I had time to go to the gym, but actually I've got a little bit of time to do some things around the outside. So it's more like it would have been better. Like it would have been better if I could have achieved this, but I do have the ability to do this. It would have been better if I did this, but I could just do this instead. So it would have been better if it sort of tempers that. Yeah, it would have been better. It's not ideal. Yeah, and I get that. So we're acknowledging that it's not ideal. So that's the first thing. And then it's the second part, which is, however, I could just do this workaround. I could do this new thing instead. And maybe it's not the 60-minute gym workout that I'm used to doing. Maybe it's not the, let's say so the example of being at the board and you weren't very present. It would have been better if I was more present, but what I'll do is I'll actually reread all the materials and I'll send everybody out a synopsis about what my view is on the session, or next session I will come more prepared, or I won't engage in this activity beforehand. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like it's a complete failure. It's more just going, how can I cognitively restructure my brain so that I can soften my language and soften and start to respect that life is on a continuum. It's not an A to B, with no travel in between. And it's not just a yes or no, success or failure. There's lots of different things. Things happen. I could say, right, as of now, I'm going to start just, every day I'm going to really go really hard. I'm going to get up really early. I'm going to go to gym. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. That's assuming that life isn't going to get in my way, that my children aren't going to be sick, or that I'm going to have a deadline that I have to rush towards, or that I'm going to be feeling very well, or that something happens to a family member or a friend and I want to be there for them, or that I'm tired. It doesn't take into account those things. So it's just, I'm either on or I'm off. And this is what I want you to really think about and contemplate. Have I got that cognitive distortion, and can I restructure it so that I can balance it? So first of all, check to see if I've got it by listening out for those words. And the second thing is, how can I restructure it, my own thinking, so that it's a little bit more softer and balanced? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I really want to try and bring these little bite-sized pieces to you. So that was 12 minutes. Lovely to be here again. Thank you so much for posting in some of the things that you'd like me to talk about, because I do love to communicate on the things that people are really interested in. So feel free to add that here. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, have a beautiful week. Bye.